Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Dansandoa, the night shadow of the Dansandoa Valley. I'm your host, Dansandoa, and I am a trans woman. As you can tell, my voice hasn't changed much. I'm in the closet, but we're going to discuss this with Avery about being trans in 2025. That's the whole episode here. It might be a little controversial. Who knows? I don't care. We're going to talk about everything being trans in 2025 and dissect this comment I got last week. And we're going to go for it. So introduce yourself, Avery.
All right, hello. My name is Avery, and I've been transitioning since 2021 and
Mm-hmm.
got on hormones about 2 years ago now.
Right.
And I'm a trans man, and I'm so much happier now.
Right.
So much happier. Oh my gosh. Can't even begin to describe it because unless you're trans, you're not gonna be able to fully understand what it's like to be transgender in the first place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the way I found out that I could be trans, well, I didn't know about trans people until uh, one of my friends, you, uh, became one, and another one I met in Canada is also trans. So it's like you meet these people and then you didn't realize these people existed when you were younger. Like I was 20 years old and this is all new to me. I mean, I never had anything against gay people or anything like that. I just wasn't well versed in the subject matter at the time. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's I kind of blocked a lot of things out until I was last couple years is when I ended up in the hospital. I had a psychotic break and basically said I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want this name. I want to be my own person. And then at the end of that year, I found out that maybe I could be a woman, you know. And I think we have a lot of those thoughts, but yours is the 360, the reverse route, because you're a trans man.
Yes.
And
Where do you want to start first?
you want to start on the
The comment?
the comment? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the comment? Let's see. It was
I have it pulled up right here.
Oh, you have it pulled up? Okay.
I do,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Um, is it like I know that sometimes YouTube will hide comments
Uh-huh.
in general, so I'm not sure if you want me to like call the name out or if you just want me to do the comment.
I'd rather not say his name or their name, whoever. You know,
Yeah,
it's like
I got you.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna read the whole thing, and I'm gonna try not to cringe at it. It's
Yeah.
probably gonna fail, but here we go. If you lack confidence, struggle with women, and are socially awkward, don't fall into the trap of degrading yourself further and submit to feed as a quote-unquote transgender. I see it all the time with men. Lift weights, touch grass, and build confidence. Going down the road of just submitting to degrading someone's self even further will not help their mental health. It will just make it worse. This quote-unquote stage is more so built on trauma, and the person submitting to this trauma and accepting degradation, that's not how you say that, whatever, you can defeat your struggles. Don't give in to the road of further eroding mental health.
Right. And the way I look at this, right? I've been struggling for years at this point, and
Yep.
it's much more than trauma. It's being you. And
Yeah.
and this this comment makes no sense because the trauma that I have it's from my family. It's not for it's not the way I see myself, you know.
Yeah.
It's family related and I rather get away from my family and become me, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of it has nothing to do with all this stuff he's saying in this comment, like blah 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 blah, touch grass, touch life. I'm not a weights lift. I never. The thing with me is I don't see myself doing all that because that's generic and boring. No offense, it's just not me. I don't want to live up to those generic male stereotypes, you know. And I don't
Whereas I'm the
I
opposite.
and oh right, yeah. I mean, you are you, right, Avery? And
Yeah,
yeah, it's like we have to be ourselves. We don't take these comments to the heart, you know. It's like
yeah,
if you want confidence, be yourself, right?
yeah,
That's the whole thing.
yeah. This comment is just a whole lot of no, and this person is basically calling themselves out. They
Yeah.
don't understand being transgender, which is okay. You don't have to understand it. You just have to say, okay, that's who you are. This is who I am. Being
Mhm.
trans does not affect anybody except the trans person. The trans person has to go through a whole bunch of, psychological mess, emotional
Mhm.
mess, mental mess, all that stuff.
Right.
It is so much more than just like for a trans woman to like lift weights, touch grass, and build confidence, and then for a trans man, it's a whole different thing. It
Yeah.
really is.
It's called uh I can't even think the word. It's don't take it to heart, basically. I already said that. Just be you and just go with that, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess I can start on my little, not
Ex-
little.
experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like I said before a little bit, um, I like my gender journey at first. Middle of 2021, I came out as non-binary because
Mhm.
I did not want to admit that I am a trans man. I was like, you know what? I'll just sit right in the middle. Even though I know I'm a trans man, I'll just say I'm non-binary. And I did that for a bit.
You didn't think you were like gender fluid, right?
Oh no, not gender fluid. I was like more so like a very it's internalized transphobia and homophobia is what it is. That's really what it is. I
Uh
like
huh.
during 2020 and all that time, there's a bunch of stuff going on like COVID, people
Yeah.
like assaulting Chinese people all the
Mhm.
time and all that. So it was really a mixture of like hating myself, not
Right.
just as a trans person, but as a Chinese person, even though I
Mhm.
know I'm not the cause of it, but all that.
Yeah.
And then like you know men usually not 9 times out of 10 typically being the assaulter when it comes to women getting assaulted or just people getting assaulted in general. It's like I don't want to be a man because men suck.
Yeah. And
So
you
I decided
probably
to do that.
you probably shunned it away. That's why you wanted to be.
Yes, yeah. And the other thing is that like in my family before I came out there were 2 girls and 2 boys, and I was the second oldest girl in the family.
Mhm.
And my sister is not a stereotypical, girl. Like growing up, well, kind of actually, but she enjoys the dresses and makeup and whatnot. But as we grew up, she really had no interest in that stuff,
Mhm.
and I didn't either. But I also wanted my parents to have the perfect little girl, and so I tried to be that for
Years.
several years. Yes, I tried to do that. I tried to wear dresses. I tried to act more feminine. Really more in my teen years as I was growing up, I didn't care
Yeah.
because I was like, before I hit puberty, I was like, this is great, but what's missing? Because I had a lot of male friends rather than female friends growing up too,
Mhm.
and I was confused when I went through a different puberty than they did. And I was like, what? Where's all my stuff?
Wait, what do you mean, like periods and stuff?
Yeah, I was, I got periods and I
Mhm.
started developing breasts and they were not developing any of that stuff. I
Right.
was like, what the heck? What's going on? And so then I started thinking, okay, well, what's wrong with my body? Am I just gonna go through a late male puberty? Is that what's gonna happen? Obviously, that never happens.
Yeah.
Um, and so I remember when I was younger, even before hitting puberty, I would try and use like the toilet
Mhm.
standing up. Didn't work.
Right.
Did not work at all. Um, and still right now doesn't work unless I use like a device. It's called the
Mhm.
stand to pee device.
Yeah.
Um, but I really just struggled a lot with everything.
Dysphoria.
Yeah, dysphoria, huge lack of self confidence, like that comment.
Mhm.
Because deep down I knew something was different, but I grew up in a slightly religious household and
Me
didn't know
too.
anything about any of this stuff
Yeah,
until
my grandparents are heavily religious, and probably voted for Trump, but I really I don't want to talk to them about it.
yeah,
Why it's a bad thing for our overall like society as a whole. Uh, but we're not going to get into that. Uh,
I mean we could.
I don't want to. Not on
That's
this
fair.
episode.
You're fine.
It'll just cause problems. But really, it's just religion. Has been one of my uh not my favorite things in the world. Once I found
Yeah,
out that gay people were bad and trans people shouldn't exist, that's when I said, I'm done with this. I'm done. Sorry, God, but you're not the real one. In my
yeah,
opinion, anyway. Uh, Jesus would love people of
of course.
anything.
Yeah,
It's just it's just not right. Just be in my opinion, everybody should love one another as who we are. That's my opinion.
yeah, yeah. You want to keep breaking down this comment?
Yes, yes, go ahead.
All right. So like you said earlier, you don't want, since you're not a man, you don't go with the stereotypical lifting weights, touching grass, and building confidence. Whereas I am the opposite. Um, July 7th of last year, I started going to the gym
Mhm.
regularly with my dad, and it has going
How
to the gym.
how is he take all this?
Oh, he's great. My dad is very, very supportive.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, my parents, my immediate family, and a bunch of extended family and friends are all very supportive, more so than I thought they would ever be.
Mhm.
So I'm very grateful for. I have a very amazing, amazing support system, and I'm very
Mhm.
grateful because not a lot of people have that, like you.
Yeah.
So I'm one of the lucky ones.
My family just won't listen to me or talk to me. So, yeah. It's difficult.
I have some family that doesn't support or agree, but thankfully I don't see them on a regular basis, so I don't have to worry
Mhm.
about it.
Yeah.
Um,
It shouldn't be a problem then.
yeah, it's not a problem. It would be more of a problem if I like had to interact with them on a daily basis, but
Yeah.
because I don't, it doesn't bother me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, my entire family took it really well, and my parents knew something was up. They just waited for me to say something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how family should be. Looking
Yeah,
after each other.
yeah. Um, but being trans is more than just going on hormones and like dressing, quote unquote, dressing as like the opposite sex. And by the way, sex and gender are two completely different things.
Mhm.
Just so everyone knows that they're two completely different things. And even I didn't actually know that until a year or two ago. I had to look that up. I was like, well, okay, why are people saying sex and gender are different? Like I knew they were different, but explain it to me. I'll even pull it up right now. Sex and gender difference. Okay. So, sex refers to a person's biological characteristics like chromosomes and reproductive
Mhm.
organs, typically characterized as male or female, while gender refers to social constructed roles, behaviors, and identities associated with being male or female, which can
Mhm.
vary greatly depending on culture and individual perception. Essentially, sex is biological while gender is social. Boom. Sex and gender, two completely different things. Get that in your head.
Right.
Oh my gosh. It's and I don't want to like use this episode to like hate on people because some
No.
people are unintentionally ignorant, and some people are intentionally ignorant. Some people don't want to learn,
Yeah.
and that's where I have issues. Like if you don't know but you want to educate yourself, I'll talk to you. But if you want to
Yeah.
just hate on me no matter what, don't talk to me.
Right. A lot of people um just don't want to listen to you or learn about certain things and uh take the chance to listen and hear and learn from these things that we just it's not old, it's not new either. It's in the middle. I mean, these people have been around. I mean, trans, gay, uh it's been around for like centuries at this point. I mean,
Yep.
what's wrong with it? It's like these people wrote about it being bad. Uh, then why was there so much of it back in the day? It's
Yeah.
like, how is it a sin?
Exactly. Yeah. I don't understand how people refuse to learn because the ironic thing is that no matter what, you can learn something new every day,
Mm-hmm.
whether
Exactly.
realize it or not.
Yeah.
And that's you know I can't ever imagine being someone who refuses to learn something new. Like I
Mm-hmm.
want to learn new things all the time. I don't want to just be stuck doing the same thing over and over again. That's not
Yeah.
interesting to me.
That's why there's so many college degrees and all that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, college college degrees are insane right now. Like you could get like a couple different college degrees and then apply to the job, and the job's like, nah, we don't want you.
You
So
don't
then
want
what's a
to.
college degree for? Yeah,
Right?
it's like
Right.
I have all these degrees, but nobody wants me. So that's a whole other can of worms.
Yeah. But the next thing I want to talk about is like how did your like fashion like change in the years? Like for me, I last couple years I've been like buying a bunch of clothes like that fits my style more than what I used to wear is just generic boring t-shirts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Um, I mean, I've always, even before coming out, I dressed as someone who would call it more androgynous.
Yeah.
It was always more towards the tomboyish side of things.
Mm-mm.
But like, unless I was, going to a funeral or like a really nice church,
Yeah.
never wore a dress. Never ever.
I've
Wouldn't even consider it.
I want to get that stuff, but it's not really
Yeah.
accepting right now. But and it's really cold out. That
Yeah.
that's one reason I'm not wearing anything like that. But I would love to just go crazy on like if you had a party or something nearby, I would wear something crazy like like a holographic dress or something like that. But
That'd be really cool.
right now, just I'm sticking with coats, sweaters, and you know pants that actually fit me. That's all I can get right now. I can't. Shoes are a little difficult because uh, I think I'm 11 women's, 11 and a half women's,
Yeah.
but really that's just yeah. Changing your style is always good.
Yeah, and again, like back to the sex and gender thing. Again, gender is a social construct,
Uh huh.
um, which means that everything in the world is a social construct.
I
Um,
the Bible, anything.
yeah, and then clothes are like we put labels on everything,
Yeah,
and
pink and
then
blue,
we are
right?
yeah, exactly. Pink was originally a boy's color, and blue was originally a girl's color.
Yeah.
And then they that flip flops. And I've always liked the color blue, but that
I
doesn't mean that every trans man likes blue.
I'm in the middle, right? I like pink and purple.
Oh
uh,
yeah,
Pink and purple are the best colors, just best combination. You got red, but I've always there's something about purple. My grandma loved purple as well, so uh, yeah, it makes sense because she was amazing. My great grandma, she had style. That's for sure.
Yeah, my style is very weird. Like my brother and my brothers and sister often make fun of me for it. Not in like
Mm-hmm.
a bad way, but like your style is complete and utter garbage. I'm like, okay, but I enjoy wearing it, so you're
Yeah.
not the ones wearing it. I'm the one that wears it.
I mean, yeah,
So
true.
yeah, it's like okay. So to preface this, I don't know if I mentioned already, but I'm almost, I want to say, was it 2 years on testosterone? I think.
Right.
I don't remember. I've lost track. That's how long I feel like how long it's been.
So,
Um, Go ahead.
um, for me, I like my goal. Uh, I know it's been a goal for at least a couple of years now, but I want once I get a place of my own, right, an apartment
Yeah.
and all that, I want to go all out. I want to revamp my wardrobe. I want to get on estrogen, right?
Yeah.
Um, and change my name and all that.
Yep.
But
Yep.
all that stuff takes a lot of time, and
Yeah. Yes.
I think it would be easier to socially transition before I do all that, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and go to. I need to get another therapist, like a gender
Yeah.
therapist.
Yep.
Those you have one, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I would need one because there's a lot of things I need to talk about that my life coach is okay to talk about these things, but I would rather, you know, have a gender decide, a gender
Yeah.
therapist.
Licensed professional. Yeah.
Yeah.
On that stuff.
Um.
Yeah. That's always good.
Yeah. It's always a good thing to get all these things uh squared away and all that.
Yeah.
But that's my goal for like the next, I guess 2025 and 2026, maybe 2027. I just you never know when these things will happen. It takes time.
Yeah. Definitely.
Um, Especially you're younger than me, right? By
Yes.
like, how old are you again? You born in 2004, right?
Yep, yeah. Actually,
Uh,
my birthday's tomorrow, so
oh, happy birthday. Well,
I'll be
conve
21.
convenient timing. My sister's birthday was yesterday, actually.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah, she's 19 this year.
Oh, wow, young.
Yeah.
Gosh, oh, man, that is shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man, I remember being 19.
Mhm.
Wasn't that
Yeah,
long ago, so.
I it was 6 years ago for me, and it was kind of like I wasn't ready for life until I was like 22. So when COVID
Nobody's ready
hit,
for life, honestly.
when COVID hit, we were basically going insane. Like 2020 and 2019 and 2021.
Yeah.
And this is, I have to tell you this, Avery, right? Back when
What's
I
up?
was 20 and 21, I already had the thoughts of being a woman because I got misgendered a lot back then. It's
Yeah.
because I had long hair and
Yep.
it was just I felt a little at ease with being misgendered. To be honest, it didn't bother me. I mean, hey, cool, thank you, nice
Yeah.
meeting you too. But it really is. It's a good feeling. It was a good feeling back in those days. I mean, I was a little crazy, but who wasn't? You know,
Yeah.
it's yeah, it was nice. It was a nice feeling. You know that a sense of euphoria when you get called
Oh,
something.
yes. Yeah.
Um, yeah. I hope to have some more of that in the next when I actually can wear makeup and have hormones and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's easy. So I don't know if this is personal or not. You didn't tell me that you didn't have top surgery, did you? or
No,
bottom?
not yet.
Okay.
Neither of those yet. And I was actually going to mention that. Um, I'm trying to be, ask me as many questions as you want. I don't mind answering any of them.
Mhm.
Um, but you mentioned your hair, and I wanted to say that um, until like 2017, I had long,
Long
long
hair.
hair,
Right.
very, very long hair, and hated it. Always hated it.
Mhm.
So I went down the traditional trans man pipeline. I'm specifying trans man for a reason. I mean, non-binary people go through this too, but
Mhm.
trans masculine and again like labels for everything
Yeah.
is nice to an extent. I won't get into that now, but
Mhm.
typically for a trans man, when it comes to haircuts, we all start out with the pixie cut, and that's
Yeah.
that's what I did. I did the pixie cut. I was like, hey, this is nice. And so since 2017, I've had my hair short.
Have you
I've
ever
been short ever
tried
since.
have you ever tried the Brad Pitt cut, like the professional, typical hairstyle in Hollywood? Like you have your hair down to your shoulders at least, but it's combed back, you know?
I've tried a variety of different haircuts.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that for me, I hate it when my hair touches my ears.
Mhm.
I cannot stand that, and so
Right.
I prefer short hair.
Yeah. That makes sense. I just there's something in me that always connected, like ever since, like, I guess high school era, 2015, 2016, I've always said I don't like this short hair stuff anymore. I don't want this anymore. I want my hair long because I felt more confident when I had long hair. It's just my mother had long hair. I mean, my brother has a long beard right now. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
hair at the end. It's all
yeah,
hair.
yeah. At the end of the day, I feel more confident with long hair. It's just my style.
Yeah.
Except last, what was it, 2023? When I dyed my hair black, my hair has been poisoned for 2 years, Avery. Never, whatever you do, don't dye your hair black. This awful idea because I've, I can't, my hair's been growing so slow ever since, so it's makes me sad. But
I mean, I have naturally black hair, so
yeah, my hair's red again, so it did come back, my red hair, but uh, I'm cursed with slow growing hair now, so it's gonna take me a while to get my long hair back, and I'm not gonna cut it again. I said, hell with this. I'm leaving it. I mean, I might trim it for another job, but really, I just want to grow it out as long as possible. I don't know. The best I can get it to is like down to my shoulders, but other than
yeah.
that, I cannot get it past to like my hips or anything like that. I cannot do that.
Oh yeah, never, never again.
It will never grow that long because I've always had trouble like maintaining it.
Yeah,
But other than that, that's yeah. Hair's important, but
yeah,
not as important as like the the surgery stuff. I want to hopefully do that by the time I'm 30 or something. I not now. Like I'm fine because I know it's expensive. It's really expensive. It's like
yeah. Depends on the surgeon and where it is and all that stuff and what type of surgery you want. There's a lot of different options out there.
for me it would be bottom surgery. That would be at least 100 grand. Uh, Unfortunately, that's how much it is. And
Yeah,
for you would be the exact same thing, right? Because you have to. You still have. Oh, this is a terrible question to ask. Breasts, right?
yeah,
Yeah. So that would be like 5K, 10K at
yeah.
least.
Not as expensive as your stuff.
No. because I've heard that it's like either a vagina is more expensive or a penis is more expensive, but it's probably the exact same price.
Yeah, I haven't really looked that much into it, honestly.
And yeah, me either. I mean, I checked the prices. That's about it. Uh, that's all I really want in life is just to feel comfortable. Really, I think we
Yeah, that's
both
what all
do.
trans people want.
Yeah.
Like, we have more difficulty because, again, like, typically you're either assigned female at birth, which is AFAB, or
Uh huh.
male at birth, which is assigned male at birth.
Mhm.
And, like, within, like, the society standards, there's only two genders, male and
Yeah.
female, which is not true, because that's, again, sex and gender, two completely different things. Um, and actually, if you want me to, I can read the gender identity development sheet that I took a while ago.
Sure, sure, sure. Like the last time I checked, there was like I was reading into the gender chart things. Like there's a sex gender, blah blah blah, space gender, and all that. I don't know about all that stuff, but
Yeah, I don't either.
it's
I
like
I translated in
okay,
my stuff.
okay, because some people think these people are kind of crazy, but I don't think they're crazy. I think it's beautiful. It's you can be whatever you want in this world, right?
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
can pick your labels, uh, and all that. I don't know about pronouns. Like I wouldn't go as far as four pronouns. She, her, he, him, they slash them. But
Yeah,
after that, it gets confusing as hell to me. I have to be honest, but
I
uh,
agree. I mean, like,
yeah.
the pronoun thing, it can be kind of weird, but for me, like, I have to remind myself that, other people, have different pronouns, and that's okay.
Uh huh.
They're not my pronouns, so I will try my best to respect that, and if I don't know how to use them, I'll ask.
Uh huh.
Um, but I won't go out of my way to just use different pronouns. Like, I will ask your pronouns if I don't know them. And if I don't think it's safe to ask, I'll typically just revert to neutral pronouns like they, them.
Yeah. It just works that way because I don't want to be rude or an asshole or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But you were gonna read off a sheet.
Yes. So, again, I've been recording for like 30-ish minutes.
Yeah, it's
Um,
fine. If we have to go to 40 minutes, that's okay.
um, but like in 2021 came out as non-binary. Did
What were you saying?
anything. And in 2022, I came out as a trans man and set up a doctor's appointment to talk about testosterone. Did
Mm-hmm.
that, and then went to the endocrinologist to get that stuff set up. And I got my labs done. They're like, "You are anemic, scarily anemic. We're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
you on iron supplements before we do anything." So for the next year, I just did that,
Right.
and then I met with a gender specialist, and she was like, "Okay, we're gonna give you this thing called a gender identity development sheet." And she expected me to just write down a few things, but I gave her a novel, so
Okay.
I'll read that now. This first one is, how do you relate to the gender binary? In what ways do you or do you not identify with expectations based on the gender binary in our culture? And I
Mm-hmm.
said, in talking about the gender binary, I know that I am biologically female and I will never be able to change that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never comfortably identified with being a female, even though for many years I did try to force myself to be more feminine to make my parents and grandparents happy. Um, Before I learned about the LGBTQIA plus community, I knew the quote unquote basics about boys and girls. Men are the breadwinners, and women are the ones that care for the family, while the men are out making a living for the family. As a little girl, the part where women are expected to marry men and have their babies to carry on the legacy always confused me because I didn't want to marry a man and have his babies and stay at home all day and care for the family. I wanted to be the man caring for my family like my dad has always done.
Right.
That's the first thing. Have you ever experienced gender fluidity regarding your affirmed gender? If so, how is this shift, and is this important for you in the future with medical affirmation? Before I accepted the fact that I am indeed a trans man, I would always be very excited when people would call me sir, young man, and little boy, because deep down it always made me feel good about myself. But after I would get these compliments, I would feel bad and correct them by saying that I'm a girl, and that would ruin my day. I ruined my own day
Right.
when I said that. Um, and I would apologize, or they would apologize for quote unquote misgendering me, and I
Mhm.
always want to say you could keep doing that, even though I felt like I was wrong. Um, how do you envision yourself in 3 years? What do you look like? What are you doing? Do you have a life partner? Or are you living as a transgender person or stealth? This was written 2022, something like that, 2020,
Right.
whatever. And now it's 2025, and I'm almost 2 years on testosterone. So I'll read this and then I'll just say all the changes.
Mhm.
So in 3 years, I hope to have already experienced a bunch of pros to testosterone and work on how to manage the cons of it as well. So let's see. Again, 2 years on testosterone. Obviously, with anything, you're not gonna get changes overnight. That's obvious. And if you get changes overnight, that's creepy. That's insane.
Wait, what?
You're like in terms of like medical transition, like hormones. Um, People always want changes to happen overnight, no matter what. But changes are not gonna happen overnight.
You're right.
They're gonna be gradual. Like that. It's like it's essentially testosterone for me is a second puberty,
Mhm.
and estrogen for you will be a second puberty. Which,
Right.
oh god, puberty. Um, but when I first started, the first noticeable change was my voice about a month in, and
Um,
go
Avery.
ahead.
So I'm not even on hormones, and I'm
Yeah,
like experiencing so many emotions as a whole. So it's probably like that's just my brain working. Yeah. So.
yeah, and that's another thing that I wanted to mention about that comment. Again, like like being transgender again is so much more than just hormones, dressing, social. It's also mental. It's
Mhm.
also psychological, and just everything. Like we don't question when cis kids say that they are their gender. So why do we
Right.
question trans kids or trans like? And I also got a comment on when I use TikTok a lot. Someone saying just you can be trans, just stay away from the kids. And I was like, okay, but I was a trans kid. Does that mean that I'm a danger to myself? I have nephews too, and they know me as me now.
Right.
I'm not a danger.
It's I think they're thinking of like when the Chris Tyson thing happened.
Yeah, there's always bad eggs in every community. It doesn't have to be, trans people or gay people or lesbians or
Mhm.
bisexuals. There's always something bad in
There's
every human
always a
community.
danger to the society. It's just different. It's like uh you never know what's under a person's skin until the last minute.
Exactly, exactly. Okay. I hope I look and feel more masculine, get misgendered less often, and more defined muscle/muscle mass, facial hair, deeper voice, and either planning top surgery or recovering from it. You asked me about that, and I told you I still have everything.
Mhm.
Um, and in terms of like that little bit, I do look and feel more masculine.
Right.
If you got a picture of me pre-T and now, there's a huge difference.
Oh,
Um,
definitely. I saw.
there's yeah, you've seen and heard it, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and let's see, facial hair. I have some facial hair. I have more sideburns than anything.
Mhm.
But it is there. It's just not completely obvious yet. Um,
So it takes a while to get like a beard on testosterone, right?
it completely depends on genetics.
Yeah.
Like I know some trans people, trans men, or trans masculine people that have full grown beards. Um, or not full grown beards, but like they're visible. Um, but like,
Mhm.
see, I'm adopted, so I've never met my biological
Father.
family.
Right.
So I don't know what my dad looks like. I don't know if I have brothers. So I don't know what my facial hair
So
looks
so
like in that family.
you've never met your family, your real family, right?
Yeah, I've never met my biological family.
Mhm.
Never ever. I only know the people I have now, which, again, I'm very grateful for them. They're the best people I could ever have in my life.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
And then let's see. I want top surgery, like every trans masculine trans man does.
Mhm.
Um, and when I first
And
came out, I started binding with like GC2B binders, and I moved
yeah.
on from that to trans tape. Which
Yeah.
again, trans tape is not for everyone, but I use it.
For me, I don't really want top surgery. I mean, it's gonna be natural, so
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. And I still like the thing about estrogen and hormones in general. I need to actually, um, get that strength to, you know, build my body up, like get the right nutrients. Like
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
always struggled with self body image. So
Oh yeah, definitely. And that's not even just a trans thing. That's just the thing in general. People always
yeah,
struggle with their body image.
yeah, it's hard. I've struggled all my life for it. So
Yeah. Okay, let's see. I hope to regularly be going to the gym. Do that
mhm,
now. I wish I took a picture of myself before going to the gym consistently, because there's obviously a huge difference.
yeah,
Um, and then let's see, staying fit and healthy. Working on that. I'm staying fit, definitely healthy, so working on
yeah.
that. Um, and I said I'm not sure if I'll have a life partner in 3 years, but if I do, by that point, I'll learn to accept myself so I can love my partner and myself at the same time, and not just loving my partner minus myself. I'm single.
So yeah, I'm single too. So like I said this to myself, I'm not gonna date anyone until I'm ready. And this year I feel like I'm ready. I just need a little more time. Uh,
Yeah, and like dating as a trans person is even
difficult.
scarier because you never
Yeah.
know if you're just being dated because it's like a goal to check off, or
Yeah.
if they're gonna fetishize you, or if they're gonna be
Mhm.
like, hey, so
Exactly.
like I know you're this and this, but like can you do this instead? Like, and there's
Yeah.
not all people are like that, and that's why some trans people date other trans people. There's no problem with that at all.
Mhm. Yeah, that's my main issue is I don't want to be a sex object or anything like that. I just want to be treated as who I am.
Yeah, yeah. I told you this is long. I still have more stuff.
I mean, we can stop here and do a part two. I don't know. It's up to
It's
you.
completely up to you. If you want to stop here and then start again and do a part two, that's up to you.
Uh, we can keep going. It's fine.
All right. Wait, where'd I go? Okay. So this is the hormone therapy prep questions, which I'll be able to answer now.
Mhm.
Couldn't answer this before, obviously, but I can answer now. Um, this one asked about resources to help learn about HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy. So
Yeah.
if you don't want to say testosterone or estrogen, you can just say HRT.
Right.
Um, and I said, ironically enough, following trans TikTok creators, which a majority of them were female to male, because that's what I am,
Mhm.
um, has been the majority of where I get my information from.
Right.
And I realized that about two of the creators are Asian, and the rest of them are, white.
Yeah.
Um, and again, I don't know why I said that. I should stop saying that. But everybody's transition is going to be different, no matter what. Sure, if you're a trans woman or a trans man, you can expect, in terms of like hormones, to have somewhat of the same journey that way. But psychologically, mentally, emotionally, all that everything else is different.
Yeah.
Um, and then what do you hope to gain from taking hormones? What are the changes you look forward to, both physical and otherwise? And then obviously for me as a trans man, I was like, well, the biggest changes are deeper voice, the redistribution of body fat and muscle mass, facial hair, more defined muscles, and overall just having my emotions and needs fit my mind. So again, like my voice has changed a lot.
Mhm.
Um, and before going on testosterone, in terms of my weight, I would be lucky if I hit 100 pounds. And I
Wait.
don't
So
even.
wait. So how much did you weigh before it? So it's like
Before I was about like 100 pounds,
uh-huh.
maybe 110 if I was lucky, and
Yeah,
like,
same here.
and I never. was diagnosed with anything like anorexia. I don't have any of that. I'm not like at all like that. I don't struggle with my body that way. Um, but now that again, I've been 2 years on testosterone. I weighed myself last night actually because I was trying to figure out how heavy my brother's dog is.
Mhm.
And she's chunky. But I weigh like 121 pounds right now.
Well,
And hopefully that continues to go up, but not
well,
in a
you
concerning way.
are so you are 5 foot, right?
5 foot, yeah, pretty much five
Okay.
foot, 5 foot 1.5, whatever.
So
So
that
yes, I'm
that
very
that
short.
that would be normal weight for you. So if you were like my height, which is 5 like 9 or 7 or something like that. I can't remember
Yeah,
what uh how tall I am, but uh I have to weigh. So my normal height weight should be like 144, but I have really struggled with my weight for my whole life, and I can only get to like 117, and then it goes down again. So it's a lot harder for me, to get to the ideal weight that I'm supposed to be.
yeah, and like the whole like weight thing is insane because there's always been influencers that
Mhm.
show you the quote unquote ideal body shape, and that just doesn't that I'm not referring to like specifically women in general. I just mean like people in general. Um, like super skinny is like the goal, or
Yeah.
like super like muscular.
Mhm.
And I can't really speak on this because I'm still very skinny. No
Yeah.
matter what. And my mom before going on testosterone, and she didn't say this to be mean or anything. She's just stating facts. She's like, if you were a cisgender woman, then your body type is the type that any other teenage girl would want to have, which is true.
Right.
And now I would hope no cisgender female wants my ideal body type because that'd be awkward.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. Okay, let's see. Okay, so the emotions thing, um, testosterone has helped a lot with that. And again, unless you're like transgender, you're really never gonna be able to understand how trans people feel unless you are indeed trans yourself.
Mhm.
So, but like I would always feel these like weird feelings, but they never would match what like a stereotypical cisgender female would experience.
Right.
So, there's that. And the next thing is, what are the possible risks for you of with unwanted effects of taking hormones? And I said this. I
Mhm.
honestly don't have any fears at all. I'm not saying that because I want to seem manly and fearless either. I just genuinely have zero fear about the risks and unwanted effects of taking hormones. And that is still true to this day.
So
No fears.
for me, uh, I don't really care if I get breast cancer because I would rather die a woman than a man. Uh,
Yeah,
it really doesn't bother me. Whatever I get, I'm dying a woman, so I would be proud.
that's actually another thing I want to talk about. So you said that you'd rather die a woman than, whatever. Um, and when I was first coming out as a trans man, my mom asked me a question because she's, wants to learn more. And she's like, why wouldn't you just be like a masculine lesbian? I was like, that's a good question, Mom, because, you know, butch lesbians and masculine lesbians are completely different to trans men.
They're kind
Um,
of hot though. Yeah. Um, but keep on.
I basically told her I was like, you know, lesbians and trans men are different things. First of all, being a lesbian is you know, sexuality, but also
Mhm.
there are and that's actually a whole other can of worms I don't want to get into. But I was like, if if I didn't feel so uncomfortable all the time in my body, and this is before testosterone, then maybe I would consider that I was a lesbian. I even like secretly for years before I came out and did hormones and everything. So like maybe um, from like really 10 years old to maybe 14, I was like, you know what, I'm a lesbian. And I
Mhm.
kept that sexuality to myself. But I was
Yeah.
like, if I was comfortable having all the assets that women have, like breasts and, a vagina and whatnot, then sure, yeah, I wouldn't mind being a butch lesbian. But if I couldn't have access to hormones, testosterone, and all that at this point in my life, I can guarantee you 100% I would not be alive today.
Right. I
I'd
mean,
rather be dead.
you have changed so much that it's like it makes me so it warms my heart that you're actually who you want to be, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And there's also another thing about, sometimes trans people get asked if you could transition earlier, would you? And I go back and forth on this because obviously my immediate answer is yes. I would love to be able to um, have transitioned at childhood, but at the same time, if I had done that, I wouldn't have been able to experience, quote unquote, being a woman, like going through the female puberty and being
I
able to relate to women.
Yeah, the thing is I am glad that I found out now than I when I was a teenager because I would have never like experienced well, I didn't experience anything because my family sucked, but the thing is, it would be much more, uh, I'll be more vulnerable, you know?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
because, uh, I've learned that the life in the world as these people, trans people, as it goes, being a woman is much more dangerous. I mean, gay people as well. They're attacked more often. And if I transitioned at say when I started feeling these emotions when I was like 19 or 20 or something,
yeah,
um, I don't think it would be good. At all. You know, it's like I needed a few more years to think about it. You know, to actually take it as a serious thing, you know. It's like it just finally clicked at 24, you know. It's
yeah,
just it takes you a bit of time.
yeah, 100%. And then, like for me, part of me wishes that I could have transitioned, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But for that, like, if anyone's questioning their gender identity, my biggest piece of advice is to just try out a different name and pronouns.
Mhm.
Because, like, I read something from a YouTuber that I no longer watch. I'm not gonna name the name just for my own personal safety. Um, but he made a video about this person who detransitioned, who
Mhm.
said she was a trans man, and the article stated that she was like, okay, I'm a trans man, and then she went through all these people to get on testosterone and everything, and
Mhm.
they let her do it just like that. Like there was really no arguments. That is not how it actually goes.
Right.
People are put on waiting lists for years. You have to see therapists for years too to make sure that you feel the same way. No
Mhm.
one is just gonna hand you hormones, and if they do, run.
Right. That's like drug money and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, let me
We're
see.
at 54 minutes now.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm actually this we're actually almost well. Okay, I lied. I want to say almost done, but that's not true. We have like maybe a page and a half left.
Okay. We'll
Um,
keep going until I would say like an hour would be fine
yeah.
before
All
this
right, let
gets too
me.
long.
Yeah, I get that. Let's see. Let's see. What can I? Sometimes I feel like I want to skip some things, but at the same time, for people that are listening that could be questioning, I want to make sure that they feel
Yeah.
seen and heard.
Mhm.
Um, so
That's
this one
that's
is,
that's what my podcast is for.
yeah, exactly. This one says, are there things that you do not understand or want to understand better about hormone therapy? And again, like specifying that I'm a trans man, so
Mhm.
I'm on testosterone. And I said, I know there are plenty of things that I do not understand and will want to understand better about hormone therapy. But at this moment, there's nothing I want to know specifically, and that still is the same thing. So that one's quick and easy.
Mhm.
Um, how do you imagine hormone therapy might change how you see yourself? All right, here we go. Right now, I see myself as a young man who was put in a different body than the one that he really wanted. When I was younger, I would often look into the mirror and try and flex my noodle arms to look more masculine, and I would always wear what others sometimes refer to as tomboy style clothing, because that's how I always felt comfortable dressing. I hope that with hormone therapy and just therapy in general, that I will work on my loving myself more and being proud to be who I am.
Right.
Let's see, how do you imagine hormone therapy might affect how others see you or treat you? How will this feel for you? Um, and I said, hope them from now on. All my family and friends will see me as the boy slash man I've wanted to be my entire life, and I hope they will try their best to treat me as such. Same goes for strangers that I'll meet along the way. And again, wrote this before testosterone, so I
Mhm.
said, right now, until I talk, people think I'm a guy, but the moment I talk with my quote unquote normal voice, they start referring to me in a feminine way, and I really
Mhm.
hope that goes away once I start taking hormone therapy. So it did. I'm no longer misgendered, which
So
is a good thing.
so when I first talked to you like the last time, I don't remember what it was. You were playing Among Us or something, and you still had your your feminine voice. It was
Yeah.
I didn't want to be rude or anything. This was
No,
back
you're
in the
good.
day. It was kind of awkward for me, so I was just sitting there, and you guys were playing a game. But
Yeah.
uh, yeah, it's changed a lot, and yeah.
I saw it was a memory from Snapchat from 2022,
Mhm.
and I laughed at myself because to me I sound more like Chinese at that point than I do
Mhm.
now.
Yeah.
But obviously that's because I'm used to listening to like Chinese women talk, and at
Mhm.
that point, I had a feminine voice and pitch, so obviously I recognize that sound as more towards Chinese women.
Yeah.
Um, but I was just like, it was like a slap in the face, like, dang, testosterone really has helped me.
Mhm.
Okay, this one is more of like an intimacy question.
Okay.
How do you think sexuality and intimacy might be affected by hormone therapy? And I think I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if I did, but I said I wrestle with my sexuality often now that I've accepted being trans. 4 or 5 years ago, I would have said that I was straight to avoid associating myself with a community that I grew up being taught to hate.
Yeah.
But now that I'm very much a part of the community, I really don't know how my sexuality and intimacy will be affected by hormone therapy. Part of me wants to say that I'm queer and don't care about gender or identity because if you're a good person and treat everyone with respect, I like you. But I'm not sure if I could see myself in a romantic relationship with another man even if they're also trans like myself.
Mhm.
I would love them as a fellow trans man and would support them in the ways that they want to be supported, but I'm not 100% sure I could be romantically attracted to them. As for the intimacy part, I'm also not sure about that either, and I would like to say it won't matter, but I know it will when it comes down to that. But I hope I'll be able to effectively communicate with my partner on both our wants and needs when it comes to intimacy. That's a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot for me. Um, I've been struggling to figure out if I'm bisexual or just lesbian because my emotions have been like crazy lately. Like, it's like you want something, but you can't get something because it's like there's nothing around. Like for me at least, it's very hard to find people, and
Yeah, yeah,
I I kind of just want to stick with one thing, and that's probably women right now. I don't really. I can only like when it comes to men, I can only like one kind of man. And it's just people that are nice and uh you know like the same stuff as me. But really, it's just I'd rather just stick with women for right now.
yeah. I'd like to say that I'm just queer because, like, honestly, I'm really just scared of people in general. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, I know like everybody in my like family and my friend group would say that like I love women, which is true.
Mhm.
Um, I talk more about women than I do about men.
Yeah.
Mostly because like,
Especially Last of Us.
yeah, especially Last of Us. Because like I can't tell, because as a trans man, I can't tell if I'm attracted to a man in like a book or a movie, or if I want to
Mhm.
be the man. So I
Yeah.
can't tell if that's romantic or if that's just envy.
That's I've had that feeling too. It's like every woman I see is I want to be them, but I also want to be with them, you know? That's the
Yeah,
feeling I got. It's like every single time I watch a TV show or movie or just meet someone in general, it's just okay, wow. That is the energy I want.
yeah, yeah.
And
Honestly, that's pretty much it with because everything else is just stuff that no longer really is relevant
okay.
to me anymore.
Wow.
Um, so yeah.
Well, this was like quite the episode, and we just landed on the hour mark. So,
I know.
um, I don't know if I did the intro correct, but this is the Night Shadow of the Dansandoa Valley with Avery right here, my favorite trans man friend. Not the only one, but uh, I do have quite a lot of trans people friends, and it's just on the internet. I don't know anybody in real life, sadly, but um, well,
I do.
I do have one non-binary friend, but in terms of trans people, I only I only know them if I see them in public once. But other than that, it's very rare to have them as a friend in public. You know, it's
Oh, that was
like
another thing I wanted to
yeah.
talk about, but that's okay. Like the whole like we can always tell group. No, you can't.
Wait,
Shut up.
what do you mean?
Like cis people are like they like to say that we can always tell by looking at you if you're trans, but
Mm-hmm.
cis people cannot tell that.
Uh,
No.
if they're early in their transition, I can tell. But when they
Well,
look
yeah.
so beautiful that you can't even tell, that's when you don't know. It's like
Yeah.
whatever they do. This is why hormones are one hell of a drug. Is like you cannot tell me that that is like holy shit that's a trans person. I thought that was a regular girl or a regular man. You know, that's how
Yeah.
good and awesome uh, this generation is we're so far in the future that this can happen. You know, and people can be themselves, and
Yeah.
that's what makes me so happy with uh, knowing that. But do you want to say stay super chill and all that, Avery?
Yeah. Stay super chill.
Stay super chill, and I will see you on the next episode of The Night Shadow of the Dansandoa Valley. This has been a great episode, and hopefully more to come.